Okay. Hey y'all, so I'm kind of like doing three things at once. I'm listening to another person live. I am trying to, work on a video, and I decided to go live. Why? Because it's the day before my birthday and I get really introspective, and excuse me that I don't really have on any makeup, but a little lipstick because I got a little new lipstick right now. Um and I hold on. I gotta turn this off because I got stuff going on in the background. I'm insane. I'm listening to another person go live. But anyway, so here we go. So let me tell you something that maybe you don't know. Hold on. Let me do something off it. Okay, so first off, I apologize for live streaming. I know y'all tired of seeing me go live because this is not the protocol of YouTube, but I really do prefer to go live with certain content. So I just wanted to get on, because this is my pre-birthday. This is it. This is my last day of being 50 years old, which, here I am, I'm back again. YouTube kicked me out for a second, which is fucking amazing to me. I mean, even though you want to live long and, it's just like sometimes amazing when you think I am 50. I'm about to be 51 years old. I am now what they call in the last part of my life. And I wanted to make it not necessarily the best part, but a great part, because I don't regret any of my life. And I don't look back at my life and go, damn, that shit was fucked up. I look at life as a path that you're on, and that, yeah, you know what? Honestly, Michelle, that's a part of astrology. Like the astrological sign right before yours, you tend to get very introspective because it's like it's the cycle of your year is coming to a close, and so you tend to do that. Thank you so much for the happy birthday. So I want to talk about a few things that have been in my head, because I don't know about y'all, but y'all don't know, but I got a big ass head, and I think a lot, and I wake up in the middle of the night with fucking thoughts. So first off, this is the one thing that I want to say, because this came up in conversation with somebody. I want to say that there is no perfect time. And what I mean by that is, so often people they lose out on life because they're waiting for the perfect time to do it. They're waiting for the perfect time to have children. They're waiting for that perfect mate. They're waiting for the perfect career. They're waiting for this to be perfect. What the hell is going on with my damn bamboo? Why are you dying? Okay, I got to work on that. Sorry, I had a moment. I looked behind me and I was like, what the hell? You just don't want to live. I'm going to do something with that thing. Okay, anyway, I digressed. So what I want to say is that in life, there is no perfect time for life. You must just live it. So if you listen to me, don't live your life waiting for the perfect moment for anything. The perfect moment is then. Leap into your life. I'm a leaper. I will leap into some shit, and I won't, this is the Aries in me. We're very impulsive. So, but I think that it's important that people, because so many people are so miserable in their lives, they're always waiting for that moment that's going to make their life happy. And they're losing out on happiness while they're waiting for that perfect moment. Take that moment in your life. Just take it back. If you want to go and try something, listen, I'm sitting up here filming a video on YouTube. I started a beauty channel at 50 years old, when there's, this is not the forum for us 50-year-olds talking about beauty. This is for the 20-somethings and the 30-somethings. And so to start it at 50 is, it was like, what the hell are you doing? And the people around me going, yeah, Lulu with that damn channel. She's so crazy. She just be doing crazy shit. So look at your life and just seize the moments. Don't wait for life to come to you. Don't wait for the perfect time. Thank you so much, Jana. Don't wait for that perfect time. Do things. Meet people. Because like, for instance, I know a lot of people, men and women alike, so this isn't just women, who are like 40s and 50s, and they're regretting that they didn't have their children. And the reason why they didn't have their children is because they were waiting for that perfect moment, the perfect person, the perfect mate, the This is going to be problematic, y'all. They were waiting for that perfect, they wanted to have enough money to have children. They wanted to have, the perfect mate. They wanted all these things lined up. And now they're 50 years old and they didn't have it because they were waiting for the perfect time. When there was probably a moment when they were with somebody and they could have just had their children. They could have had those, and I'm a big proponent for kids. I got kids and I love, and I think if you want them, have them. You will make a way. People are like, oh my God, I don't have enough money. I don't have this. I don't have that. You will make a way in this life. If you're looking to do something with your life, do it. If you want to go back to school, don't wait, especially now because you can go to school online. If you want to change careers, don't wait. Start looking into doing it. If you want to move to a different city, start planning it. Don't just sit there and go, I need this, I need this. No, life is not promised. So live your life because there is no fucking perfect time for living. So, I just wanted to say that was first thing. And so I wanted to say, because what I look at sometimes, you see the young ones here, like 25 things I've learned in 25 years. And I thought about doing it. I said, bitch, you are about to be 51. You will be videoing for 2 hours trying to think of 51 things about your life. Yep, exactly. And he should, Michelle. He should just go and do it because it's not, do it because all you'll do is worry about it and regret why you didn't do it, why you didn't make this move, what you could have had in your life. Just go ahead and do it. It's life is too short. And so I say that because, y'all don't know this about me, and I don't talk about it often because it tears me up. But I was with both of my parents when they died. So I've seen death. I watched my father at 16 die from cancer, slowly but surely, lung cancer and emphysema he died from. My mother, I left her for 45 minutes. I came back and she was gone. So I understand the shortness and how life can be gone like that. So, sorry. So I think those things have made me always look at life like, I'm going to do what the fuck I want. Oh, you know what? It's okay. It does still make me sad, but my parents have been gone a long time and I'm okay. I'm okay. So what it taught me, that you have to live your life. My father seized his life. My father lived, and he was gone when he was 57, but he had lived a very full life. And he talked about it and told me about it. He had the time to tell me about it. My mom, like I said, she wasn't even sick. I left her. She had a cold. By the time I came back, she had died. So you have to live your life. And you have to look at life like it's okay. The things that happen to you in life are the lessons that you must learn. Things have happened to me, of course. We all got shit that happens. But I didn't look at them with so much regret, like, oh, this is terrible. Oh, no. No. I looked at them as, So I look at them as the things that are important, that were lessons that I learned. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So, and I'm the youngest. So I was only 16 when my father died, but I knew my father was dying. And so it wasn't like it was a surprise. I knew my father. My father was sick for years. So, we knew at the time my father died, I knew any day that it was going to happen. So I was just waiting, so, those are the things that happen in life. And then they should, instead of being like, like some people miss their parents and they don't move on. Well, you have to move on. The thing is like, for instance, I tell anybody, this is the true story. When my mom died, I was 20. Damn, how old was I? I was 28. I was 28 when my mother died. And it was very sudden. Like I said, I left her and I came back and she was gone. And that Monday I had to go in and take finals because I had gone back to school. And I was back in school and finals started Monday. True story. And so I went to talk to my professors in reference to letting them know what was going on in my life, because I had to take care of that because I couldn't take F's. So I had to go and handle that with the fact that, my mother's passing. So I went to school and I talked to my teachers, and like I was supposed to be in a final that day. And so my teacher was like, listen, you, because it was on a Tuesday, because mama died on Friday, had to go to school on Tuesday and talk to everybody. And so they were like, one of my professors was like, well, you have to go into this final statistics. He was like, you got 10 questions. If you do 2 questions, you'll get a B. If you do 5 questions right, you'll get an A. I said, okay. I'm not gonna wait and try to do this, over. And I went in and did 2 questions and left and got my B. But I say that to say that I still had to go ahead and keep living. And I didn't let it stop me, because I knew if I did, then that was not living the life my mother had wanted for me. If I had allowed my mother's life, death, to stop me from doing the things that she was so happy that I was going back to do, then that would have just been like not living for what she would have wanted for me. And I think too often we do that. We allow life to just stop us in our tracks and we can't move. And if you don't do anything in life, you have to keep moving. You have to like as I say, you have to tread lightly in life. You have to be able to walk lightly in life, because you never know when you're going to have to shift. And so I've learned how to shift. And so with that, that's why I say there is no perfect time. You shift with things. I had a y'all don't know. I guess most of the things you all don't know. So here's a few things about me. I'm a belly dance instructor. I've been teaching belly dance for 15 years now. Good Lord, I'm old. Yes, it's been around 15 years since I started teaching belly dance. And so at one point I had a studio. And the issue was with the studio was that I started out co-opting a space. The people in the space I was co-opting with were getting high and selling drugs. So I had to move out of my space. Thank you. I had to like move out of that space and start my studio someplace else. I had to get a studio and had a business partner. We had to find a studio over a weekend because it was getting so bad that, these people, I would be giving a dance class and he had drug deals going on around us. This how deep this crazy ass man was. So during that time I learned to just move and so we had to move the studio. And because I had to move the studio, I lost business and everything. So I struggled with it, and I tried to keep it alive for like 2 more years, and I just wound up having to let it go, and it was a struggle. But I don't regret it. It was a time of my life, and I learned a lot. And because of it, I have a lot of people in my life. I have a lot of beautiful women that I've met over the years. I've taught thousands of women how to dance from doing small classes. Girl, look, I still got to put on something though, But yeah, and thank you all. That's so sweet. And let me tell y'all, I'm in a school. I'm working in an alternative school right now. Oh my God. But yeah, so I just want to say that, just make sure. Oh, thank you. Yeah, because I don't have on anything today. Yeah. Y'all so sweet. Let me tell y'all something. This is work, though. You have to work on your skin. I tell people now, true enough, I have good genes. You know what I'm saying? I was blessed with some good genes, but you still got to take care of it because my skin was getting really tired and dry, and it just didn't feel good. So I do try to take care of it really well. Why did I just say, speaking of that, I just sent my daughter something about the red light therapy. I want to try that on my skin. I want to get to the point that I look like I'm 30 years old without getting any work done. That's my goal. Can I get it like some people be like, "Oh, you look about 30." Yeah, but when it comes down to things, I do, I love being, the laughter of life, but I also take, I think there's a seriousness that some people make life too serious for themselves, and I don't think they live enough. My daddy taught me that you dream for the stars, because those are Well, thank you. You know, you should dream and push for you should reach for the stars, because why have small dreams? Your dream should be huge. Your dream should be, you know, just could fill a whole room. And I think that's not, people don't do. Good night, beauty. Good night. The Berg, I got it. Pittsburgh. I got it. But yeah, and so when I think about life and I think about people, and you know, people do talk to me that I want make cool noises, yeah. Yeah, that it's a see, I got it. I got it. It took me a minute because I was like Berg. But then you said Pittsburgh the other day in Ann's one. So got it. But yeah. And so I want, you know, to understand that, you know, life, too many people, and I always tell people, too many people just live their life miserable. And the reason why they're so miserable is because they just won't take a chance on life. Listen, I'm the weirdest. Listen, I'm wild. I ain't gonna lie to y'all. Here's the truth. I'm wild as fuck. I've done wild things. I'll keep doing wild things. I hope people do wild things. But I think it's important that people have a life that fulfills them and makes them feel good about themselves. And so one of the things I do believe in is us as women, that we should be able to, y'all know I'm into sexuality, so you know I want you all to be sexual being, the sexual being you want to be. But also with that, I just want people to find their place and their happiness and not let other people drive it. You know, I spend too much time I just don't do that anymore. You know, I've never been that person. I've always kind of been me, and I was taught to be me. And so I think that too often, especially now, because like I'm looking at kids, you know, I see kids, and I think that social media is a good thing. I like doing this and meeting new people, but I also think it's a bad thing on to too many people. You know, I think it's a bad thing because there's so much pressure to be accepted and to be cool or to be what's in. And I think that once we stop doing that as a person, you will find who you are. I think that once you stop worrying about what your family thinks of you, what the world thinks of you, what your church thinks of you, what all those things think of you, you know, then you will be in a better place. And I think that that's the problem, is so many of us are so worried about what everybody else thinks. And I know this for a fact because when you talk about sexuality, I find many women come to me privately about it. And that's part of their issues, that they can't be the sexual being that they want to be based on everybody around them. And I know we've gone off tangent. We went off topic, but this is the truth of it. And so it does make me, you know, think about those things. And because I hear people talk to me about these situations, that's how I, you know, where I come from with this. But like I said, the main thing I think in life, and I've learned in this lifetime, is that shit gonna happen, and shit gonna be bad sometimes. You know, just like life is rough. And it's not always going to be perfect, but you can find some perfection in it. You can find a perfect place. You can find a way through it. And as long as you can keep standing, as long as you can stand, as long as you can walk into the next day, you have a chance to make a difference. You can have a chance to change the shit. You have a chance to be the person that you want to be. And I think that, you know, that sometimes we get so caught up in that moment that we can't get to the point of being into the life that we could have. And so I always tell people, you know, you can't. Oh, thank you, Amy. You're well. Thank you. And so that's what I think about, you know, as I come into my year. I always think, okay, what have I done? Where have I been? Have I done anything, you know, that I need to change? Do I need to be something, you know, do I need to work on something? Because I think, and let me say this, we should always be in change. We should never be that same person that we were 10 years ago. I'm not the same person I was. 10 years ago, y'all wouldn't even know me. You know what I'm saying? 10 years ago, I was just coming out of my marriage. My marriage was, you know, on the rocks. It was before I knew about the HIV and the Hep C. I was like, you know, this woman who was bitter and mad because I was going through it. But I had to get, when it was done, okay, yes, and you always evolve, when I decided to do this, I said, okay, I don't see myself out here. When I look on here on this landscape of YouTube in the beauty community, I don't see myself. I don't see a black woman 50 years old talking about beauty. When I see women talking about beauty in my age group, I got to be real. Most of them were a little like kind of boring to me and everything, you know. So there we go. And so that's why I decided to do it. But of course, it is a different change for me. It is yes, happy birthday, Aries sister. And so I want, when we live through this life, we have to be able to move through it and be okay. Let me see. I'll give y'all the short version. At 10 years old, I was molested by a neighbor. At 16 years old, I saw I was with my father when he died, when he took his last breath, when my mother at 28, those are the things. And here's the thing. People look at that and say, oh, you're so strong. You made it through, at 40, what was I? 41 was when I found out. 41 was when I found out my ex-husband was HIV positive and Hep C positive and had never told me. And no, I'm not, but that was my life for then. But those are the things that people say, oh my God, you're so strong. No, I lived through them and understand that's just a part of what happened in my life. But I don't look back at them and say my life was bad because of them. No, I look at my life like those were moments in my life that I had to learn from. I learned, during my parents' death. I learned during the things I dealt with my ex-husband. He put me in a different place than I was. I had to learn things along the path. And sometimes we don't see those lessons and we get bogged down on what happened without seeing what we get out of them. What I have gotten out of all these things that have happened in my life throughout the years is that nothing can stop my life except me. Nothing can stop me. We all have our moments when we wallow, when we're having a moment, when shit is fucked up. But the only way you can make it to the next moment is to survive through it. So you got to keep it moving. You got to figure out what to do. You can't stay still. You can't go, I can't figure it out, because you can. You can really figure it out once you put your mind to it. And sometimes it's not going to be the solution you wanted, but it'll get you through that. And then you'll get to the next point. I will say that right now, I am so much better than I was 10 years ago. I am over the hurt and the betrayal of what happened with my ex-husband. And if you all want to know really what happened, I did do a video on it on World AIDS Day. And the betrayal of my husband, and that took a lot out of me. It was like somebody that I thought I was going to be with for the rest of my life, to find out that, he was a fucking demon possessed. And but what I learned about myself in that, yes, Janet, it is. And you know what? And the big picture is you can make it through. And I'm not saying that everything we're going to make it through. We're not, because one day we ain't going to make it through. But every day up until then, we can keep moving and keep leaving a legacy of whatever we're going to leave on this earth. I look at some people, like I have a friend, just 60 years old, about to be 61. He's never been married. Makes very good money, owns his own company. Probably on paper, he's a millionaire. Net worth is probably in the millions at this point. But he doesn't have a woman in his life, and he's been dealing with cancer. Yep, exactly, Tracy. He's been dealing with cancer. And I feel so sorry for him, because it's like you were so busy living and thinking you had it all together that you probably missed the opportunity to have love in your life. And now you're dealing with something like cancer at 60 years old by yourself. You're going to your cancer treatments by yourself and dealing with it. If that is not just a sad place to be in your life, I don't know what is. And it's not because he couldn't have had it, but because he was waiting for that perfect woman. He was waiting for the perfect woman. That woman who was going to be like the perfect one for him, who was going to be the beautiful woman he wanted, who was going to listen to him the way he wanted. You know, all those perfect things. And now he finds himself at this age by himself dealing with illnesses, you know, by himself. And I keep telling these old men, because I know y'all gonna agree with me, all these old men who run around thinking they got all day long to find a woman, you're getting old and ain't nobody gonna want your old sickly ass, so you better get with. But you know what, Michelle, that's what I'm saying, I've met men who are like in their 50s and stuff, who don't have children, never been married, and now they have the regrets of it. And I know women like the same way, who have the regrets because they didn't have children. Now they're in their mid 40s, going into their late 40s, and regret not doing it because they were waiting for that perfect partner. They were waiting for that perfect moment. My career has to be at this level. I have to be able to afford this. Listen, I had my kids at 23. I was almost 23. I was 22 going on 23. And 2 years later, I had my son. And I was broke. And as my son said, we had times when we didn't have the electricity on sometimes. But I made a way for us to make it through life. And as I've always said, I'd sell pussy for my kids. But, you know, that's another story. But, you know, it wasn't the perfect time. I was young. I decided to go back to school because I had left school. I went back to school when they were young and did all those things. And I gave up my career at times for my kids. So it's not a perfect time. Right. Yep. Exactly. Exactly, Jana. So it wasn't the perfect time for me to have children. No, I should have finished school. I should have started my career. I should have done all those things that they say you do. But right now I'd have young kids, and I didn't want that either. But what if I didn't? What if I didn't allow myself to have my kids when I did, and I wouldn't have these beings that I created? So I'm okay with it. Yes, I didn't have I didn't travel and get to kick it with my friends that didn't have kids at the time. No, I did not. No, I didn't get to do some things. I had to sacrifice some things for my children, but I have them and I love them and they love me. So that's more important than all those things. And now I'm 50 years old with grown children who can take care of their mama. And that's what I'm talking about. Because I could not imagine myself 50 years old with a little kid. So that was just not going to happen. So no. So all my friends, because I know these girls who are like in their 40s having babies. I'm like, bless your heart, because this is not happening here. But that's another story. But anyway. Yeah, so I think that in life, we just have to get through it. And we have to say, it's okay. We're going to be okay in the moment. And we can figure out a way to make it through. You know, and it takes just thought. It takes the thought about how you're going to live, how you're going to make it. What is the next step? You know, listen, I had been to the point where I was almost homeless. When me and my ex-husband broke up, I walked away from my home. Because there was a point when I thought I was going to kill him, and y'all was probably going to see me on Snap, because I was really contemplating killing him about the whole HIV Hep C thing. Real talk. It was going down, y'all. I was, making plans, and then I said, now, do you want to be on Snap? Do you want your kids to be talking about you while you in jail? So I had to take a moment for myself, and I walked away from almost everything I owned. I left almost everything in that house. The only thing I took were my books, my clothes, a few, some things in my house. And I walked away and left him with it. I said, you can have all this. It doesn't matter. You can have it. I don't want it. And I had to rebuild in the last 10 years to where I am today. And it's okay. No, I don't have a house. And guess what? I don't want one. I don't want a house anymore. I've had a house. I like a landlord. I like my little spot. I'm good in this spot. And life is good. I'm here on YouTube. Hey. Girl. You know it, Jana. Girl. But I like girls too, so I'd have been okay. But listen, my ass been like, what? Oh God, no. Life in the hood. Y'all hear that? Y'all hear that? Life in the hood. Life in the hood. You got to have some, like, you know, if y'all ain't been on enough of my videos, if y'all ain't heard enough with them fire trucks and damn police. Yes, honey, life in Chicago, especially when you live in the hood. I do live in the hood. Well, you know, it's like, I'm actually in the transitional hood. I'm going to be close to the presidential library when it gets built. I'm going to be in walking distance of the presidential library. So I don't mind my hood. I'll be right there at the Obama library when they open it up. Child, I'll be right there. Where you at, Miss Hopkins? Oh, that eye is cute. No, you know what? I live east. There's two airports in Chicago. There's Midway and O'Hare. O'Hare is the big one that's kind of north. It's close. Yuma, Arizona. Midway is the one that's kind of in the city. It's closer to me. It's real far west. I live close to Lake Michigan. So I'm closer to the lake, which is awesome because I also live close to the water. One day when it gets warm outside, I said I was going to video me riding my bike along the lake shore because I live close to the lake and I go ride on the lake a lot. So I'll do an early morning ride and just show the lake shore and how it looks in Chicago, because we have a beautiful city. Don't get me wrong. For everything that you all hear about Chicago, Chicago is one of the most beautiful cities, especially in the summertime, that you could ever come and visit. I know you'd be like, oh my God. It's like any big city. You just don't go to certain hoods. But Chicago is a very, very beautiful city. Oh, honey. Which part of Canada? Because I love Toronto. Yes, see, Simone, Chicago is beautiful, especially in the summertime, because there's all kinds. Chicago has a lot of beautiful parkways and a lot of, and the one thing they did was they put a lot of money. Mayor Daley put in a lot of money in the beautification of Chicago. So there's a lot of green space in Chicago. And then there's also a lot of neighborhood festivals in the summertime. So you could always find something to do in Chicago. You're going to find a food festival. You're going to find some type of festival that you can do. Yep. Yes, it is. Oh, yeah. Chicago does have great public transportation. We have top, because I live right on my corner. I can catch a bus. Because that, like, people always like, you don't like to drive. I'm like, but I got a bus right out here, y'all. And I can walk to other buses and I can get where I need to go. And Uber is awesome. But I am going to buy a car soon enough. Maybe. Who knows? My son wants me to get a car. He's like, Ma, you need a car. Whatever. But yeah, so if you ever have the chance to come to Chicago, come in the summertime. You will love it. You will love it. Yes, Lollapalooza is here now. Of course, I have not, man, they be downtown doing it at Lolla. But yeah, so for where I'm at, I'm west of where the presidential library is going to be. So I am about 2 miles from where, about 2.5 miles from where they're planning the President Obama's library. So I'll be like right in the, so I'll be able to, so when they have it, that first, yeah, I'll be there. That opening, I'm gonna be there. I don't know how I'm gonna get there, but I'm gonna be at the president. Yeah, where it's gonna be is within walking distance of me, and then I'm like maybe 3 miles away from the Lake Michigan. So I love where I live because it is that, and yes, it is in gentrification mode because of the Obama library. So like where I'm living at now, yes, hood, but it ain't gonna be hood for long because they're gonna move all the hood out of here for everybody to come visit. Shoot, they're putting like a hotel by me. It's so wild because, you know, it's like a hotel. Oh, most definitely. When they haven't even broke ground, they just know where it's going to be. So they have the place, you know, where it's going to be. Over in, you know, they're going to, it's actually going to be close to the Museum of Science and Industry here. So it's going to be close to the lake. You know, it's going to be right over in that area. And, yeah, definitely I would live stream that day because that's going to be ridiculous when they do that. When they do that, it's going to be ridiculous in Chicago. It's going to be a hot mess. I hope they do it in the summertime, though. I hope they open it when it's warm outside. That'll make my life so much easier. Because when he was doing his speech here, when he was leaving office, I didn't get those tickets because the day they was giving out them tickets, it was 5 degrees outside. And I just could not stand outside in 5-degree weather to get them 2 tickets to go see him speak. I was like, nah. Woodland Hills, NoHo, Northridge, Delray. What was... Oh, you know what? I love Milwaukee Summerfest. I haven't gone in quite some time, but Summerfest is so nice. They have the best concerts there, and they're very cheap. They're very cheap there. I love them. Now, let me just tell y'all something don't come to here now is the Taste of Chicago. The Taste of Chicago used to be really big here, and, you know, people used to come for it. Yes, exactly. So you know where it is. Yeah, it was like the Taste of Chicago is like so tired and janky now. It's like, oh, it's so much smaller. It's less days, and it's basically pizza. It's pizza, them damn turkey legs, and some fried chicken. Stuff I can get. Now they are trying to do a little bit different because I think like they have the food truck days, and then they have like, I went last year with this guy that I can't, that no, they don't do the fireworks anymore. However, let me say, Tracy, I have not gone to the fireworks at the Taste of Chicago since 1985 because I almost got crushed in the crowd. Hey, and I almost got crushed in the crowd that day. I was with, it was like, you know, it was so many people out there. I was with my boyfriend at the time, and I had my 5-year-old nephew, and we were trying to come through the crowd. You know, we were just trying to, you know, people, and they literally crushed me. Oh, I know. I got it. I'm about to send it to you as soon as I'm off of here because it's loaded now. But they almost crushed me in the crowd. Literally, he was walking through and we were walking behind him, and all of a sudden, all these people just surrounded us. And it was like, I'm holding my nephew and I've never gone back. I was like, no, I can watch it I can watch, you know, I don't need to be there. I can sit on Lakeshore Drive. I can go to somebody else's fireworks, but I never go to theirs again. But yeah. You just want to see me, girl? You can see me. Listen, real talk, Jana. Here's the things I do in the summertime. We might be having a weekend of events here. Let me think about that. I normally do a lot of events during the year. I've just finished doing my gourmet ramen nights. I do those once a month. I do that once a month, and I do a gourmet ramen pop-up restaurant in my house. So I do that. And then I do... during the summertime, we have what we call Thursday Night Chill. And there's a certain beach that's very quiet that no one really knows about. So it's never crowded. It's like just me and the people I know. And we go out there every Thursday night and we just chill. Now, that wasn't a mess. That was hubby's face. That was hubby's face for her. Girl, let me just say something about that green. That green was driving me insane. That green was driving me insane. You look like he was trying to make you one of the and what's that show that everybody watch, The Walking Dead? Cause he had you with the green girl. Yeah. But yeah, so it was what were we saying? I'm just saying, that was Walking Dead makeup. He could have been a makeup artist for that one. He could be a special effects makeup artist for like The Walking Dead with that look. And he did it, and it was so natural. You know, he was a natural with it. He was a natural with it. That's the thing. He was natural with it. Made that shit happen like that. I'm sorry I missed that because I promise you I'd have probably been losing that green. Because when I looked at you, I was like, is that green or gray on her cheekbones? What's really going on? And then when he said that your cheeks should match your shirt, that was it for me. I said, Lord, how does a man come up with that one? On my phone, it looked green. All I know is when he said her cheeks should match her, you know, she said, what? So now the next time you let him do it, and I'm serious, you better wear pink. You better wear peach. I know, because he said it 3 times. You kept saying, what? Well, what? No. He was like, no, to match your shirt. Right. He would, right. Right. He was like, you tripping. You tripping, man. You tripping. Tripping. Oh, wait a minute, I gotta do something. Yes, yeah. It did look like he beat you up. Because if you had been if you had met some people, they'd been like, damn, he fucked her up. He'd have been looking, or he would, right. If he had met you like that, he would have thought you was crazy. But if they go out as a couple and she had that makeup on, people would have been feeling sorry for her. Somebody would have slipped her a card. Baby, this is where you need to call to get help. This is where you need to call to get some help. Y'all so cute, though. I love. I'm just not in love with anybody. Hey, Monique. So let's talk about stuff like that, because we had the moment where I was serious in the beginning. So let's have a little fun talk before I get off here, finish this video, and then dip some cake pops for my daughter. She makes me sick. My daughter has her own little business going, but I'm the one got to work on it sometimes. Could you do this? Could you do? I don't even get any money. She better buy me my red light therapy thing I want in pink. Anyway. I'm just saying. She's sending me messages right now. Could you do this? Could you do that? I don't get any money for this. I'm gonna need a little salary on the side with your little hustle. Because I have people who need it. I think you need to come home and do your work. You need to come home from work and do your stuff. Then that's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. Hey, can y'all tell me, when I'm looking at chat and you see like a little girl, Michelle, let me tell you though what I do to her. Real talk. I do send her stuff like I need it. Like, yeah, I'm gonna need this right here. That's why I sent her that thing for my red light therapy. I'm like, okay, this is what I want. And it's a great price because I want to try one out. Do you all know what red light therapy is? Red light therapy is okay. So red light therapy is they give you the goggles, but it's a I don't want to say. Ooh, see, I'm trying to stay away from the Ulta credit card, but I don't need it because I still spend the money there. It's another form of skincare treatment. It's a skincare treatment, and it uses a red light, and I think it's an infrared light. I gotta remember what it is. Hey, Dre, thank you. And you use it around your face, and it like helps to rebuild collagen. It helps with wrinkles. It does all these things. So it's like doing almost like a yeah, it's the same thing as white or blue, but it's a red light therapy. This one has white. I think it has blue light too. So this one is like multi-light therapy. And because I wanted to try it out just to see how it works, because I do micro needling, which I have not been doing enough. I have not been doing enough micro needling. But I do I do micro needling, so I want to see how this works. Because micro needling does work. I'm just lazy with it. I don't do it, because you should do it 2 or 3 times a week. I just haven't been micro needling enough. I do just enough to keep these little wrinkles at bay. I'll be like, no, bitch. And let me say this. If you're thinking about doing micro needling because you've seen anything about it, do not buy the ones from Nordstrom's because they're overpriced. They got these, now they have these electric ones, like with battery operated micro needling things, that they want like $200 or $300 for them. And you can go get a handheld one. Am I going to shop for this for VIB? Yeah, that's it. I know. Okay, I am probably going to buy something at Sephora VIB. Normally what I buy when I get those type of things is I buy stuff like foundations. Like I said, I'm going to probably buy some foundations. I know I want the NARS. Uh, does microneedling hurt? No, it does not, because the needles are so tiny, and you use them. They do. You can kind of get a prick from it, but it doesn't hurt, and you're not gonna bleed. You know, it's just it's a very, because I have the 0.25 millimeter and I have the 0.5. I'll never go higher than a 0.5 personally. When you go higher than that, I think I will go to a professional to do it. But the ones I have, no. It's just like you feel it, and what'll happen is you'll see that your face will get red because you can see the blood rushing to your face. And that's what it's supposed to do, because it's supposed to make your, make your brain think that it needs to, fix your face so it produces collagen. Because, as we get older, we don't produce as much collagen. So this is kind of a way to like, make your face, make your brain create more collagen than it normally would as we get older. And so it does work. But this is what I saw, that they're doing microneedling for the lips, right? People are doing it to plump up their lips. Yeah, so what they do is like they do it to plump up. I think I did a video of me doing microneedling on here. It might be on here like really early on, where I did a microneedling session to show how it works. But now they're doing it for your lips because they're saying it plumps it. So what I did is I do try to do it, because I use the smallest one, which is 0.25 millimeters. And I do my lips now, but I only do that for to hydrate. So like, because I use the Laneige lip sleeping mask, so I use that on there. So what I'll do is I'll microneedle my lips, and then I'll put on that, so it'll go, it'll go in. Yes, I could do another one. I think I've done one before a while ago, but I do need to update it, because like I said, I do certain things in the morning and then I do certain things at night. And the thing is, I do have a nighttime skincare routine up. And yes, and so yes, because like when you microneedle, you can, I will say this, when you microneedle and you do something like a sheet mask, or because usually what I do is I'll do I do the microneedling, and then I'll do like a clay mask to draw out the toxins, and then I'll go back in with a sheet mask or something like that, right, to bring for the serums. And you can honestly feel them, sinking more into your skin, because you have opened up your skin more. So that is what microneedling really does do for you. Yeah, it does have a lip plumper. And so that's what I use it for. But yeah, that's what they use it for too, is to lip, plump up your lips. They say do microneedling, but don't get the one that they're talking about like in the magazines, because that thing is $200. You can go get a 0.25 millimeter handheld one for like, I think I paid like $6 or $7 on mine, because I think I have them on my page, on my Amazon page, the ones that I bought, where you can just use it on your lips. And it does. Yes. Yeah, so and then see, like if you do the microneedling and then put the lip plumper on, girl, it's really gonna work. Do that and then go out, your lips gonna be looking like Lisa Rinna with her little fake lips, with her lying ass for so many years. Do y'all know that it finally came out that those were not real? Can I talk about how I did it? You know what? You can publish yourself on Amazon. Let me tell you, you know what? If you look on mine, you'll see my Amazon influencer page, Jana, and that's on there. So I always put stuff that I've used and I recommend on Amazon on there. Girl, remember for years that heifer said they was real. Remember, she kept insisting that those lips were real, and then finally she said, okay, they ain't. It was like, come on, girl. Come on, girl. We all knew that was a lie. That was worth your lips. Quit lying. Lies and deceit. Come on now. Come on now. Whatever. But yeah, it really does do it, because like when I've done it and then put on my my Laneige, I can really feel it in my lips, like, ooh, this is some good shit I got going on, y'all. Yes, my lips is gonna be sexy. What time is it? Okay, I'm good on time. Oh yeah. Yeah, you know what? Now I haven't tried theirs. I have the Buxom ones. But let me be real, I've never paid full price for Buxom. I always get it when they go half price. So I've never paid more than $10 for my Buxom lip glosses. Oh, okay. I do, you know what, and I have to write some more because there's actually been a book that I'm supposed to have finished. So let me get back to Amazon. On Amazon, you can do almost everything. So if you want to do something like that, and I tell people, go onto Amazon. They have where you can self-publish. Now, because my books are so small, I just went with, doing it as a digital, and the thing I try to tell people is doing that is awesome because you own the rights to your story. You own your story, your book. You own everything. Oh, yes. Shut up. ColourPop is coming out with some lovely, I'm going back and forth on the BH Festival palette because ColourPop is coming out tomorrow with these beautiful, beautiful colors, of single shadows. So I might buy those instead. I haven't decided yet. But yeah, and if you scroll down, you'll see how to publish on Amazon at the very bottom of the main page. And so what you can do is just hit it. And the thing with it is that you do your own thing. So I did all that myself. I do too. It's on sale right now, and they're doing free shipping, so I might go and get it tonight. I haven't decided. I'm going back and forth. But you can do your self-publishing, and then you decide the price. You decide everything. The royalties are yours. You own your piece of work. You know what? Exactly, because they keep saying that Tropicana, but you know what? I'm telling y'all, BH and limited editions stays forever. Yes, please, it's ColourPop. BH, their limited editions will be on, because Carly Bible is still around. I'm telling y'all, them Carly Bible things be around for about a year. Yes. And the thing is with Dre, if you're doing a thicker, if you're doing a regular size book, you can actually set up on Amazon where they do if you want to do hard copies, they will fulfill everything. They will do all your fulfillment. All you have to do is give them the work and your cover photo, your cover art, and they will print up everything just in time. So when people order it, it will go just in time. Listen, Amazon, to be real, Amazon is there for people to make money. Not only Amazon makes money, but Amazon will also help you make money. It will. So, there's that. They have the publishing. They have so many things. They have so many facets in there that are made for people who want to make money on the side or make this their living, that they can really do it if you just, do a little research into it. And I think a lot of times, so many of us are too lazy to do the research and, to find out what it is. I just so happened to be scrolling and I was like, hey, I can write this. And what happened was during that time was when I was closing down my dance studio, and I read these things called destiny cards. I know y'all like, what? I'm so off the charts. But destiny cards is like, it's like a combination of numerology and astrology, and it's really good, and it really does. But the way their year works, is based on your birthday. So it's like your year is mapped out based on your birthday, and it has certain things going on. And at the time that this was happening, what the destiny card says is you go through this transition around your 45th birthday. And it's like at your 45th birthday, they say that you're moving into a new part of your life. And at the time, this is so weird, and I'm telling you this is so weird, is that, and actually this is what I heard on astrology, it said April 10th, you're going to make a big change. And I didn't even hear it till after April 10th. But on April 10th was the day that I called my business partner and said, we have to close the studio. We can't do this anymore. We've lost too many students. It's just not working. We got to let it go. And that was the hardest day for me because that had been my life for like 4 years at that point, and it was like, we got to do this. This isn't working. We just got to let it go. We got to walk away. And then that's when, and I was kind of in transition. And that's when I really started talking about sexuality and being honest about who I was as a sexual being. And then women were contacting me like, hey, you know, thank you for saying this. And it was just little shit I was saying. You lost count of your age. And so, you know, because of it, I felt like it was time for me to say who I was. Because, you know, I am a very highly sexual person and have always been. And if you've read, I've been sexual since I was about 5. And this wasn't because I had been touched or anything. I was just a sexual being. That's who I was. I had sexual dreams. I had dreams about sex at 5 and 6 years old. But looking back at it, I think it was a past life that I was dreaming about, because it was very, very vivid, and I still remember it to this day. And it was a ritual. You know, I was in a ritual. And so that's just one thing. So with it, I felt the need to like share my story in order to free other women, because so often we think that we're alone and we're by ourselves when it comes to sexuality, because sexuality isn't a place. Sexuality is a continuum, and there's no one right place. There's the right place for you. So I believe that, you know, people need to be, especially us as women, because we're so victimized when it comes to our sexuality, from slut shaming to being called whores and all these things. I think that sometimes somebody has to make a stand and say, it's okay for you to be sexual. It's okay for you. And there's so many women that have lost their, you know, who are so afraid of their sexuality, who have never really had an orgasm, who have never really enjoyed sex because they're so afraid of it. And so I felt the need to talk about sex and the things that I've done, you know, in the places that I've been, and what my sexual journey has been, in order to free other women and to let them know that you're not alone and it's okay to be sexual. And so that's how it began, and that's how I wound up writing that. And I wrote it in like 2 weeks. I was like, okay, let's just put it all down. And it also freed me, because I had always been hiding that. You know, I was always so worried that people would find out who I was as a sexual person, and they would be like, oh my gosh, she's so this, she's so that. And so it was very freeing for me also, because it gave me the ability to say, this is who I am, like it a lit, you know. So like now, one thing people know, I am who I am, and I don't have any, I don't feel the need to lie about who I am as a person, just in general. And because of the way we are set up, yes. And that's true, Dre. But the thing is that's one thing that that has been used to repress us as women. And that's why I have a problem with it. Because, you know, our sexuality has been used to repress us as women in the modern day religious, you know, sector. You know, in ancient times, who we were as women, sexually, divine feminine, all of that was celebrated. That's why there's so many goddesses, because those ancient religions celebrated women, and they understood our strengths, and they understood that we were just an important. Yes, Janet, exactly. You know, and so it was, you know, so, you know, once you repress, and by repressing us, they made us, and like, for instance, they made us the seat of men's, you know, what's the word I'm looking for? You know, they've made women, we are now considered, we have to be the seat of you know, of, what's the word? Jesus, I can't think of it. But, you know, men can do what they want to. We as women have to be, you know, so virtuous. That's what I'm looking for. We are the seat of virtue. And that's not fair to us as women, to make us the seat of virtue. Like, if a man does something to us, it's because of us, and we should have done this. And, you know, that whole vibe about it. No, it's not right. And I also try to tell other women that we cannot talk about each other the way that we do. We have to stop the whole shaming each other for men, you know, to like, you know, oh, she's terrible, she's this. No, she's not. You know, No, she's not. And what's sad is because I'm around kids and it's being perpetuated. The whole slut shaming, the whole vibe that we have about women and sexuality and everything is being perpetuated by our children. And there's so much more to us. And the other thing is that I want women to understand, and the reason why I say things about sexuality is because I want women to understand that sex does not equal love. And because of the way we have been brought up, too many women feel like to be a good girl and have sex, you have to love these jerks. No, you do not have to love this jerk. You can know he got some good dick, but you don't have to be with him. And so I think if part of what I want women to understand is to break that cycle of, because you're sexual, that means either you're a bad girl if you're sexual, or if you're having sex with somebody, you got to have a relationship and fall in love with them. No, you got to have an orgasm if it's good. That's about all you have to have. Other than that, you should be able to. And I also tell women, once you take that out of the picture, then you can evaluate a man better. See, no dick will make me fall in love. And too many women fall in love with the dick and then find out the lover is not worth it. And that's where we make the mistake, because we think that love lies between our legs, and it really does not. Our heart is not there. And you know, okay, I digressed. Sorry. That's like my big thing. You know, outside of beauty, I'm all into sex. Beauty and sex, though, do go hand in hand. Yes, exactly, Laura. And that's the problem, is because we are taught that when things like that happen to us, it's our fault because we did this, because we did that. And because men don't, they can't control themselves. So it's up to us to be this virtuous person, and it's not on us. And men have to be accountable for how they act. That's why we have this whole thing that was going on in Hollywood, and everybody's acting like they're so surprised. We all knew those men were doing that kind of stuff. That's why they call it the casting couch. Come on. But it's all about they couldn't control themselves. I couldn't help myself. Yes, you can. Yes, you can, because you're a being with sense. We have intelligence. We can decide right from wrong. And if you know what you're doing is wrong, then it's wrong. I mean, and so at 17, I know somebody, you felt it was you, but it really wasn't. It wasn't you. It's never you. It's the person who does this to you. It's them. It's their problem. It's their psychosis. It's their issues. And until we stop making women feel like it's our fault because somebody snatches from us something that we didn't want to give them, how dare they? That's why we can't get past it. Because we don't understand that, and we still allow that to be the thought process. Like, there was a girl that I grew up with, and when she was 14, and she was fast, as they called it, fast. And these boys got her in the house and closed and locked her in with them and raped her. We all know they did. This is what they did. They raped her. But the word was, well, she was all fast and wild and everything. So basically, like, it was her fault, or she kind of like led them onto that and brought that onto herself when she didn't. She was 14 years old. They were like 15, 16-year-old boys. And she was never right from that. I haven't seen her. Okay. Here we go. Yes. And the thing was with her is that she was never right from that situation. And she wound up getting hooked on drugs and everything. And for years, I would see her and it would break my heart, because from that moment that happened to her, it wasn't just that moment happened to her, but how everybody else reacted to that moment in her life that precipitated who she became. And that is one of the saddest things that happens to us as women, because we internalize those things and we allow that to shape who we are. Yes, and I understand that. Yes, exactly. And let me say, I was lucky enough that I had a family that told me what it was. So when I was 10 years old and my neighbors, my friend's father touched on me, I knew what he was doing. And at first I didn't say anything, but then I finally did tell my mother, and my mother believed me. So luckily I had a parent that believed me. Now, did we take him to court? No, we did not, because it was the 70s, and my mother felt at the time that she didn't want me as a 10-year-old child to have to endure something like that. Do I think she should have? I did, but later on what came out about the guy was when my father found out. I mean, my mother didn't even tell my father or my big brother because she felt like they would try to kill him, which would have been okay with me. I'm just being real. But a few years later, he did wind up going to jail. Why? Because he was having sex with his wife's niece, 15 years old. And the thing was, because when this all happened with me, I told his wife, my mother, she came into my house because, look, I'm so ignorant. Listen, I was a little 10-year-old snitch. I told all the little girls, don't go over their house because he's a freak. He going to try to touch on you. I told all the little girls in the neighborhood, stay away from him because he was a molester. I promise you I did. I was 10 years old. I was telling all the kids, don't you go over there. Don't you go over there. And so his wife came to my house and asked me what happened. And I sat there and I told her exactly what happened because I was spending the night at their house. And it was just, being 10 years old, So, I told her exactly what happened. And this man did try to touch me. I mean, literally pulled my pants down, rubbed on my little non-existent breast, watched me when I peed in his house. Because he was there. My mother didn't know, because I was over there hanging out with them because it was, it was the 70s. My mother was so nice and naive and innocent about people. And so I told her exactly what he did to me, and she stayed with him. And so a few years, it was 2 years later, this niece was staying at their house, and I had hurt my knee. This is when I was 12 years old, true story. I fell off a roof playing, broke my knee, was all messed up for the summer. So it was maybe July when I did it. So most of the summer I was I had a full leg cast. But anyway, where we lived, it was these townhouses, and we faced each other. And I still lived around this man. So we lived on one side and they lived across from me. And I started seeing him because what would happen is, early in the morning, so I could hang out and play with my friends, my mother and them, they would take this chair outside and put it on our porch, and and have this thing so I could prop my leg up so I could just hang out. So everybody would hang out with me on my porch, and I was on this big chair. So I would see him and interacting with this girl because it was summertime and I had dogs and stuff, so I could sit outside all day. So I would just be sitting there reading my books and stuff, and I would be out early in the morning, and he didn't see me, and I saw their interaction. And I told my mother, I said, he's doing something with this girl, because it was a very intimate thing I saw him do to this girl, 15 years old. And it was she was And so it did come out soon afterwards that he was having sex with her. And the thing was that his wife stayed with him 2 years after I told her about him. So, and put her niece and her kids, because her kids were still there, had her kids with him, and had moved in her nieces with him even after I told her about him. So, it's people do these type of things, which will make somebody think they're at fault. But my mother told me, you ain't at fault. He's a pervert. So, luckily I was able to know what he was doing, because because when it happened and I cried, he was like, what do you think I'm doing? And at the time I was so scared because I didn't know what to do, because I was this 10-year-old kid with this grown-ass man trying to do something sexual to me. And he said, I'm not doing what you think I'm doing. Then he stood for a minute and said, but don't tell your mama. Yes. And she put, like I said, they weren't living, her nieces weren't living there when all this happened. She moved them in after the fact. you know, and then brought this girl 15, 16 years old with him. And then he wound up, yeah, having a sexual relationship with her. It was like, what? What? You know, but that happens so often that people don't want to accept the fact that this happens, or act like, you know, it could be low-key the girl's fault, when it's not our fault. It's not our fault when somebody takes from us, when somebody hurts us like that. And I think that that's one of the things that our society has created, this culture, you know, this rape culture that says it's okay. You know what, also, Michelle, let me just be real with you. Honestly, as an adult and understanding certain things, I also think she just didn't want to get rid. She was on a come up. I'm saying this because he was like a police officer. Oh, by the way, I forgot to say that. He was a police officer. He was a police officer. And from what I understood, they had been living in like the projects. So she was like living like she didn't have a lot of money and everything. And like he got with her, married her. And it was like basically she had a come up. You know, she had a nice place. They had two nice cars. You know, she had a house full of furniture. So she had a come up. And I think she wasn't willing to give up the come up. Oh, yeah. Shady cop. Listen. Okay. Yeah, he was real super shady. Real super shady. Besides that, yeah. And that's why, and that was the other reason why my mama didn't want to take it to court, because this was a cop. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, me, a 10-year-old against a cop. Yeah, okay. So she was like, she didn't want to do that. She didn't want to put me through that at 10. Hello. Yes, exactly, Laura. Exactly. It's about control and power, and how people will do those things to you to, you know, for them to feel like they're in control and in power. You know, like for instance, I've never been, but there was a man who tried to abuse me. He tried. This was in the last few years, and he really wasn't somebody that I was really into, but I wound up with him because of the circumstances, and he seemed like a nice guy, and he was very verbally abusive. I wound up living with him for like a hot minute. Yep, exactly, because this was like 1977, definitely, Michelle. And he was really verbally abusive, on the verge of physical abuse. And but I kept telling him, I said, I ain't the one. I'm not the one. I am not the one. You will not break me. And because I said that, and then I left him alone, and he still kept coming at me, and he was so fucking insane. I mean, he was doing stuff. This is when I had my dance studio. He was showing up at my, okay, nice talking to you. Let me tell you this. He was one of those guys who, he would say things, but he would like hit the line of like being abusive, you know, or saying something threatening. But one time I was in the car with him, and he was like, I could beat your ass and throw you in the alley and nobody would know. At that point, I was trying to jump out of a moving car. Real talk. But then, yeah. And you know what? The thing is that we have to, as women, understand we are attracting them. So we have to fix what about us that makes us attract these people, you know, or just see the signs of them and leave them the fuck alone. And I mean, because he was like, I mean, when I stayed with him, let me tell you how crazy this motherfucker was. When I was staying with him, I wound up going to his father's funeral. Okay, I don't know anybody here. I'm at his father's funeral, and his brother spoke to me. Right, just met him. Hello, how are you? It's nice, you know. He said, oh yeah, I've heard, you know, he told me about you. Okay, whatever. Do you know, when we got back to his house, this guy kept me up for hours grilling me on why was his brother talking to me? What was you talking to him about? How do you know him? I know you know him. I was like, dude, are you insane? I was like, that's your brother. He spoke to me. We said hello. It was about a 2-minute conversation. I don't know this man. He kept me up to like 3 o'clock in the morning going off on me because he swore that there was some kind of connection with me and his brother. So when I finally left him alone, was like, no. He was doing stuff like coming, and I mean, he would come up with these crazy lies like why he needed to see me and all this other stuff. And he had a daughter, and I felt like she was stuck with this crazy man. So I tried to take care of her, but then after a while, I had to leave her ass alone too. But he would, like, one point he was like, he told me, he came at me like on the phone like, I'm gonna get you, you know, you keep this up, I'm just gonna get you on the street. I'm coming over there now, because I wouldn't see him. So he was like acting like he was gonna just drag me out. Like one day, my studio had these big iron gates. I had to be locked into my studio one time, literally, because he said he was coming for me, and I could hear him shaking these iron gates, trying to get at me. And now, mind you, I wasn't even, he couldn't even see me. It looked like no one was there. And he was like shaking these iron gates, trying to figure out how to get in, to get to me. And, but it got to the point where he was like, he kept making these little subtle, low-key threats at me. And finally, it just came to a head. And I was like, oh, wait a minute, I'm better than this shit. And so he was like coming to me, like he was going to come to my door and beat on my door. And I met him on the street. I was in a hoodie like this. It was raining outside. And I was like, we gonna fight up in here. I was like, you think I was out there like a man? Like, I squared up and I was like, we gonna fucking fight now. If you gonna hit me, you gonna hit me now. Know this, I'm coming at your ass. At that point, that's when he left me alone. But I did wind up having to get a restraining order against him. And for, I want to say, almost 3 years, he still contacted me via text. He was still contacting my phone because I never got him served, because he would never answer the service. He would never open the door to the sheriff. So they never technically served him. But I did get a restraining order in absentia. But as long as he never got it, if we ever met up, and I was taught this from a police officer, he could always claim he didn't know about it at first. Oh yeah, he was crazy as a fuck. I mean, and then it was like, even when I wasn't talking to him, if I don't know where the texts are, because I kept them just in case I needed them. It was like he would escalate, and I wasn't even saying anything back to him. So he would like send me something like, I need to talk to you. And of course I'm not answering. And then it'd be like, so you're not going to answer me? I need you here. I need you. What are we doing? Why aren't you talking to me? I mean, he would literally do this for like an hour straight. He would just send like 50 of them. Yeah, and well, let me tell you the reason why I got it. It wasn't for him to yield it, honestly. It was for me to protect myself when he came at me and I tried to kill that motherfucker. See, that's where I was at that point. Because let me say this. Cop told me a ball-peen hammer is not considered a lethal weapon, but you can carry it in your purse. Just so you know, you can hit someone. He said you can fuck them up like that. That's what a cop told me. I was like, oh, okay. Yes. Girl, I had some of them, Michelle, who be like, it's like, what? I got this one who was trying to take me out and I couldn't make it. Yeah. Get a ball-peen hammer. The little one, fuck them up with it. He said you can fuck their asses up. And wait a minute. So I couldn't make the date because he was like really pushing to have date. I don't mind meeting you for coffee, but I really just couldn't do it in a week. And then he was like, I'm trying to make you the love of my life. And that was when I said, okay, it's a good thing we didn't meet, because if you already called me the love of your life and I ain't never met your ass, we good with never meeting. We don't ever have to meet ever again. Let's not do this. We're good. Right. He gonna make me the love of his life. No, my brother. No, you are not. Not today. But I'll tell you this. The guy who I got the restraining order against, when you see things, like I had a stalker back in the 90s. Yeah, I did have a stalker in the 90s. I didn't wind up getting a restraining order on him, but I did have a stalker. I had dated him, but he was one of them. He started going crazy too, to the point that he tried to climb through my window. So, it had been years, but this guy, when I met him, something about him, like the thing is, sometimes we do have intuition. Our bodies feel it. And we need to listen to that, because I knew something was wrong with him. I wasn't really feeling him, but he was pushing and pursuing me and pursuing me. And so I kind of gave in, which is not my normal way. But like I said, this was during these last 10 years when I was a little different. But, you know, I was like, okay, you know, he really likes me and stuff, which is something I would have never done. And by not listening to what I was hearing inside of me, because my gut was saying, girl, no. But by not listening to my gut, I wound up dating him and wound up in the situation. But I also think I needed to be in that situation because I do talk to a lot of women, and I needed to understand the mind of an abuser, because I've never been abused in a relationship. I've never been with emotionally or verbally abusive people, but I do talk to a lot of women, and I think I needed to understand how it works, the dynamics of it, which was he was very relentless, you know, because people kept asking me, why is he still around? Why is this crazy? I mean, like literally one time my friend came to pick me up to go out. He was waiting around the corner and followed us and was chasing us, you know, and texting me at the same time. And like I told somebody, I said, you have to understand, I keep telling him, leave me alone. I don't want you. I don't want you. Leave me alone. And he kept coming. He was like relentless for a while. And so now seeing that, I understand that a lot of times when women say they can't leave these men, they really can't, because they will be relentless. And if you don't have the capability or the resources, you kind of get stuck in those situations. Not to say that everybody does, but sometimes that's what they do. They're relentless on you, and they will break you down. And that's what he was trying to do with me. He was trying to break my ass. But I'm too strong. And I kept saying, you ain't gonna break me. So leave me the fuck alone. And if you are the type of woman who's weaker than me, you can get caught, because they're so relentless. They're gonna keep coming at you. I mean, like I said, when I stayed with him, he was doing stuff like waking me up in the middle of the night to question me. You know, just so it was like psychological crazy shit. And if you're with somebody who's doing that to you, it can break you. And so I think I needed to understand that, so I would have more empathy for women when I hear that. Because so often, if you've never experienced it, you like, girl, please, I'd have been gone. That's not necessarily true. You know, because depending on how they are, you might not make it out. Okay, I got to finish this video. And I got to dip some cake pops for my daughter. So it has been great talking to you all right before my birthday. I will have a video up first thing in the morning. So I hope you all will enjoy it. I got to finish it up right now. So thank you all. Yeah. Oh man, Michelle, the manipulation is real. And I think that's the one thing that I needed to understand, is that y'all love me so much. Thank you. Thank you. Good night. Good night. I noticed, have you ever noticed that my conversations never stay on track? They go from one end to the other. Y'all need to keep me focused. That's y'all job, not mine. Good night. Good night. Good night. Talk to y'all later. I am so unfocused at times. I'm getting better though. I'm getting better, I swear. All right, you all have a good night.